probably wondering, what's with all the copper? That's actually aged copper that I've been trying to oxidize. Actually, I did an oopsie earlier. Let's go sleep really quick. The past couple of days I've been collecting a bunch of resources because I have a build I need to do. But for this build I need copper, and for copper, you need honeycombs. However, I already had a bunch of copper, kind of in the middle stage of being oxidized because I went down into a trial chamber, which we should actually probably do now. I'm not sure if this will be enough. I do believe it's all oxidized now, but the oopsie I did earlier was, since I got it from the trial chamber, it was already waxed. So I had it just here, not oxidizing at all for probably like 3 days. And I was just scratching my head the entire time why it was not working. Actually, let's put you back down, because I want to go down into the trial chamber right now to get more copper and hopefully some slime. Someone's shooting at me. Hello? Ooh, give me your trident. I already have one, but I do want 2. Ow. Oh my god. No, I'm gonna die. This would be actually the second time I've died today. Oh my god. Oh, now I'm drowning. These guys hurt. Disregarding my health, we do need to go down into the mine, actually. Anyways, yes, I do have shaders on right now. I think this is called Solaris or Solas or something like that. But it looks really nice. It actually has... Oh, hello. I know there's another one down here. Gimme. I think these shaders are really cool. They have like really good refraction, and they actually have normal mapping. But I have it disabled. But there isn't even a resource pack that goes with it. Oh, look at that reflection. That's sick. And it's actually really good performance shaders as well. I do believe that the trial chamber is this way. Okay, and here we are. I don't know if we're going to keep the shaders on the entire time, but... Ooh, this is nice. It is rather pretty. I'm not sure how well it'll look on video. Hopefully the detail will be able to pop through, but I actually came here specifically for these. This is going to be a part of the roof. I decided to get, to go into the nether actually, and get a bunch of like the warped wood that has a little greenish tint within the blue. So this copper is going to go really nice. I should probably pick up some of these stairs too. I don't know if you can turn the actual like waxed copper into all these different materials like trapdoors. So we're going to need a couple of those too. I do already have a bunch of copper, but I think I want to get some more. Oh yeah, it's these actually, specifically that I want to get. Oh, actually no, it's these. I didn't know they even had these like already oxidized. You can kind of imagine, they look like really cool windows, but here they use them as like kind of like a boardwalk or a catwalk rather, like in a factory. But a factory is actually the theme that we're going to go for, because it's going to be a moss farm. But I wanted to make it really aesthetic, so in the last video I actually mentioned that I don't do a lot of building on a creative, but this one I specifically did, so it's going to look rather nice actually. I really like how it turned out. I think it's some areas a little flat, but you'll see how it turned out. I definitely think that the trial chamber is one of my more favorite updates that they've done. So we already had a mod that had dynamic lighting, but it's also nice because it's integrated into these shaders packs. I'll link the shaders down below if anyone's interested. I'm sure you guys can find it. Also, if you're curious, yes, I did craft diamond armor, but only boots. These, what is it called? The chest plate was actually, it was found in one of the trial chamber loot boxes. Those gotcha crates. I forget what they're called. But where am I going? Actually, I'll go drop this off, and then we can go get the final thing. I wrote it down here somewhere. I actually don't remember what it is. That's right. Black wool. We already have 5, but we need about 30. It's for the details. It's not part of the actual build. It'll honestly be part of the build that you won't even properly see. I knew you were going to come in handy soon. Thank you. Alright, and over here we have all the materials we're going to need to actually build this moss farm. Here is all the redstone, and here's all the building blocks. We're still waiting actually on the trapdoors. I just place them here on these oxidized copper blocks, just to oxidize faster. We can actually pick some of these up. This one's taking a while for some reason. But regardless, we can start right now, actually. And it's going to be placed right here in the middle of this little, like, kind of peninsula looking thing. Hello, cow. I'll actually move you. You might be in the way, I believe. And I chose this area mostly because it's actually spawn, so it'll always be working as long as I have the switch on. I'm not sure if I always want it to be on, but we do need quite a bit of bone meal for other farms in the future. I want to make a tree farm, and actually the initial plan was to make a tree slash flower farm, and actually have the majority of the materials are already set up, but I realized that I don't have enough bone meal even with the skeleton spawner. But that's fine, because this should produce a lot of bone meal. Why don't you... Actually, we do need some of these. So I'll just take them out anyways right now. This little section that I'm placing blocks in right now actually is just going to be kind of like a dock. The idea is to have like kind of a little shipment yard where we have incoming and outgoing product. The product is being moss and bone meal. Well, I guess it's self-sustaining, so we don't really need product per se, but it's the idea that counts. Alright, so here's the footprint of the factory. The inside isn't going to be that big, mostly because it's going to be completely full. It's about 7, or no, it's a 11 by 15 wide and then 7 tall. So I just made, I built the factory basically around the footprint of the moss farm. So it's going to take up the entire space of it, and we're going to have very little space on the inside once we actually build it. But here, I'll show you around the outside. The factory is supposed to be really decrepit, you know, being right next to the ocean. It's the waves going to be crashing, hitting it, and then it's going to deteriorate the foundation. So that's why you can see the actual foundations exposed, like right here, through the beams and whatnot. And as you're going to see soon, it's going to start transitioning into much darker and then back to lighter. But this red is supposed to be the actual like brick foundation, while the gray and white part is going to be kind of like the stucco that you would usually put on the outside exteriors of buildings. Alright, so I just about finished the majority of the build. All that is left is a bunch of small details around, and I guess I'll talk about them while I'm putting them all together. Actually, it doesn't... I didn't consider that with shaders that the sun would be behind here, but it'll look better in the morning. But hopefully it on video looks pretty good in the sunlight. But yeah, this is it. This is it's just a rectangle, and one thing I really struggle with is actually the shape of builds usually. Over here is going to be the entrance, so we're just going to pop down some pressure plates to prevent any of the mobs. Well, it's dark. We're going to prevent any mobs from potentially getting in there, messing stuff up. I guess it's not nighttime, but we'll continue to keep on decorating. Oh yeah, this is nice, having the lantern in my hand. As you can see, earlier I said that this was the foundation, the orangish blocks. I continued that all the way to the top with some weathered copper or slightly oxidized copper. So that's why I was oxidizing all of them earlier. They're all waxed now, so I don't think I missed any copper pieces at all. Oh, look at that. As the sunrise is coming up. But yeah, I chose a lot of different blocks for this. A lot of gray blocks, mostly just like beating away that are closer to the ground level. It makes it all gray. Originally, I was thinking that the entire building was white, so you see that it's all white. And like I said earlier, that I wanted to use these as windows, and so instead of having iron bars or doors like that, these are supposed to be copper windows, so they did oxidize, and you know it matches really well with the green hints, because you know tough and the bricks have a slight green tint to it, so it goes really well with the mossy cobblestone and these terracotta. You know, they look kind of weird like up close, but they have some white in it, so when you're much further back, it actually blends the entire thing together. That one kind of stands out a little bit too much by itself, or there is much better, but I will be adding something to help blend it in a little bit. And over here is just a big old smokestack, and on top we have a little tree and a little azalea tree. The entire thing I thought would be nice if the idea was that over time the moss has taken over the factory completely. So from far away it looks really, really worn down, and I need to actually put shroom lights in there. Go ahead, pop that down, and some scaffolding. Prevents a little bit of the light from emitting, at least for the shaders, but you know, that looks like the factory is definitely on and working from a distance. And down here, actually, maybe I can hop down. Perfect. And ow. Yeah, I'm not gonna try that again. I'm gonna actually go from the inside instead. Actually, let's look at the inside really quick. Beautifully empty, as you can see. Oh, I should maybe put some of these down. We'll decorate a little bit once we actually build the moss farm, but it's going to be this entire thing, you'll see. You see this a lot with certain builds that people like to use fence posts for fire escape, and that's kind of what this is, kind of an outside catwalk to also be an observatory for ships that are coming into the yard, because down there, that's where they are going to dock. It's pretty small, but the shipments, you'll see, I'll have a little crane looking thing. And oh, I did actually miss a spot. Let's go ahead and do this stage. Perfect. I'm not missing that one. I'll do you as well. Okay, yeah, we have them all. Minecraft is very difficult to build with usually, in my opinion, because a lot of the time you are just building like right in front of it. It's like painting on a canvas with your face right in front of the canvas. So a lot of the times, like the difficulty in building with in survival is you don't have the ability to like step away really easily. So I mean that's why a lot of people that play Minecraft have like free cam and stuff specifically for building, where they set up a tripod or have have an alt account. I don't have an alt account, but I do have a free cam that'll help me actually look at it from a far distance. But I already built this in creative specifically for this area, so I won't need to do that. And back here is where all of the smokestack pollution is going to go to. It's going to be leaking a bunch of crude oil. So here I have two very rare deep slate coal ore. Because I saw, when I was building this, I saw that there was already coal ore there, so I was inspired. And right here is where all the extra moss is going to go. So what we're going to do is just place a moss block, and let's place that one back down right here, like so, and we're just going to bone meal. And then yeah, it looks like it's pumping moss directly back into the actual the earth. So you know, you kind of have like that balance of like pollution, but also sustainability. See that a lot in capitalism in real life, but yeah, it looks I think it looks pretty good like that, along with the stone. It adds a really nice contrast. The green and the orange works really well together. And over here, I actually forgot another thing. I added a little blast furnace right here, so it's gonna look like it's leaking all the way down. And I'm add some vines just right here. And look at that, yeah. Like something's leaking out from there, some coolant or whatever. If it's like an AC unit, some HVAC. And we're just going to use the extra moss that I have to just fill this up. It's going to be kind of like a bin, an overflow bin, where we keep the actual moss. And I forget what else goes there. I spent all this time collecting a bunch of material. Oh, that was fast. I spent all this time collecting a bunch of materials, and my dog is barking. But I completely forgot to actually get leaves. Where's my shears? And we're just gonna fill up the entire right here, the little greenery. And I think that looks good like that. And a little extra moss bits never hurt to just put around everywhere. This part was actually an afterthought. This was the very last thing that I wanted to build, mostly because this part of the building is actually rather flat. So I just wanted to fill it out. But I think I did okay. I can't help but think and imagine the other crane that I built over there next to my boat. And I just kind of cringe at it with how weird it looks at an angle. But this is supposed to be just some kind of a pulley system that lifts the bones up and down. I'm going to place some like so, and right here. Obviously, it might be a little bit difficult to convey what exactly is being transported, but that's why I got these fan coral, because they look like if you were to place down like bone meal physically in the world. So that's a substitute for that, because it's gray and it's close enough to white. I almost forgot, I gotta put these rails down to make it look like it's being secured. Yeah, and that looks pretty complete to me, actually. And I still gotta do this dock. This area right here is going to be where the shipments are supposed to be received. And I'm going to actually use a really cool trick that I learned recently where we can hide. Oh, maybe I should have done that. I'm going to use glass to give the illusion that there is actual depth in here, because I didn't want to make an actual interior for this. Or at least not yet. This will be somewhat of a placeholder. That's why I said this was kind of like an afterthought earlier for the entire thing. But this should be enough wool, I think. Alright, and with that you can kind of see how it like fades completely into like black with a tuff and the deep slate all the way back there. And this is just going to be where the shipments get placed down. And one more is good like that. And you can see kind of like the story we're trying to tell here. With a little lantern right there. And of course we have to make it a little bit more accessible, so we're just going to try to clear out all of this. And that should be much more accessible now. And right here, we are going to put a little bucket of water to kind of indicate that this is a water tank. And this tap right here is going to have just a little bit of falling water. We're going to indicate that the water is moving kind of fast with like white, because usually that's what water looks like when it's more turbulent than laminar. And now it is time for the final bit of exterior decorating, which is some lichen. It really helps with blending from far away specifically. You can see how, I mean, with the shaders, it's it stands out a little bit too much, but I think it's fine. Here with the shaders up, you can kind of see how much better it transitions the wood into the gray. That's the kind of effect I'm going for without the shaders. But I'll just keep my shaders on while I'm doing the final touches. The lichen is going to help a lot, especially with these really bright terracotta blocks that we have placed right there. People usually don't like to build with them because it's rather difficult, and they have like a bunch of crazy patterns, but you know, it's just a really high skill block to actually use. So you have to use it pretty sparingly. Here is going to be a faucet, so all the oil or crude oil is going to be dripping down from this faucet. And I think this should be the last bit of lichen right there. And that just about does it. I think the lichen here, it works actually really well for reflecting off of the lantern. But now we are going to transition into actually doing the functional side of the build. Alright, I've gone ahead and finished the entire moss farm, and like I said, it is a rather tight fit, but it should hopefully, and it's really dark in here. The inside isn't that pretty, but hopefully that shouldn't matter with how much moss this produces. This is incredibly dark. My god. And by the way, I followed a tutorial by BasicRedstone of how to make this farm. and it's pretty easy to use. So right here, we'll just turn all these bones into bone meal. And I have like little hanging signs here in case anyone else wants to use it, but you basically put a minimum of 8 bone meal in here, but I'm gonna put all that I have in there. And then you flip the lever. Right now it's in the on position, so it's a little backwards, and you just flip it off. And then it doesn't turn on. Alright, apparently I forgot to put this in subtract mode, and it, oh, look at that, it's working. Beautiful. Just like I intended to. So what it does here is, I'll go up on the top just to show you, but it is creating a stone while pushing it and breaking all of the moss that comes up. And it's actually working a little bit too fast, maybe. Okay, quick tip. If the farm isn't producing as much as you want, you just put a lever right here. It pops off, and it should be fine. Okay, let's go watch it from the top. Oh yeah, that's way better. Yeah, because it was like localized, like all the way at the bottom for some reason. I don't know what that fixes, but does something. I guess I'll show you guys around a little bit of what I did. But I added like chains, like hanging from the roof, from the rafters. That like holds up this entire contraption, even though it kind of looks like it's on the ground. Put this sign here, it says watch your head, because this, you know, OSHA violation. Down here is where all the composters compost all the seeds, moss, and azalea leaves to be turned into bone meal that gets redirected. I picked something up. They'll get rerouted back into the system. Let's see here, we have, this should be producing like more. Hopefully after that fix, it'll be positive after, but there's already a bunch of moss and stuff here. That's plenty already. So anything that goes, because it'll fill up from the bottom to the top first. Anything that is maybe halfway full, I'll probably put back into the system to get even more bone meal. But I think it looks pretty good like that. But I do think you need about at least half of these to be composters and half of it to be just storage. I put the majority as just composters because that's what I really care about right now, is getting much more bone meal than anything. But I left the last thing for us to do together, which is just placing spore blossoms. Spore blossoms, as you can see, they have they emit these like particles, which I'm not sure if everybody knew this, but those like spore particles all the way at the bottom of the world where you have all the lush caves at. They're not specific to the biome, and they're actually tied to the spore blossoms, which I didn't even know until recently. So one last one to go here, and it emits a little light. That's kind of cute. But hey, try to finish this. Come on. As you can see, I mean, with Solaris, it has like other particles for the fireflies, but you can occasionally see spores going all throughout around the building, and I put one almost at every single corner, one outside, two inside. That's all I had for now. We should probably sleep. Oh, but with that, it is complete. I'm gonna let this go for probably a couple hours just to see how much bone meal I can actually get. This is gonna be fueling our next project, the next video I'll be making. And I'll leave off this video with a little footage of the actual finished build.